رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. حماك ربي غاية رضاك والقلب في يقين يحيا على هداك. ذو الجلال في علاه ما لنا سواه هو واهب الحياة فلنبتغي رضاه. القادر الحليم الغافر الرحيم إن قال كن يكن سبحانه العظيم. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. حياة ديننا عطاء والكون من ضياء يستلهم الصفاء. ربنا ارتضاه لنا كامل تمام قد جاء بالسلام والخير للأنام. وأنا به رضيت وبنوره هديت سأظل ما حييت أقول في دعائي. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. صلوا على النبي 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 صلوا على النبي. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا.
Good afternoon, parents of Victory Heights Primary School. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We've just been greeted by the music of Maha Zahi and Rahaditu Belahi. So I hope you enjoyed the music as we came in today. Maha Zain, and today in our Islamic webinar, we will be answering some of the questions that we commonly receive from parents about Islamic studies at Victory Heights Primary School. I will be joined shortly by Miss Reehan, who is our brand new Head of Department for Islamic Studies at Victory Heights. So it will be my pleasure to introduce you to Miss Reehan. So I'm going to begin by first of all talking about our Islamic department. So Miss Reehan is a member of the department of two, and she is joined as well by Miss Fatten, who is our Islamic A teacher. So Miss Reehan teaches Islamic B, and I hopefully by the magic of technology am joined now by Miss Reehan. Miss Reehan, are you there?
Yeah, hi, how are you,
I
Mr.
am good, thank you. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm sure the parents will love to hear from you with all of the answers to the various questions that they have. They will also have an opportunity to ask any questions themselves. So if you are on a mobile device, if you look down here, you will find a comment box. And if you want to make any questions in the comments box, just please type it away and we will answer them at the end. Or if you are on a desktop, your comments box is probably going to appear to that side of the screen. So we will endeavour to answer any of your questions. So let's, without further ado, move on from the head and the Islamic A teacher, and let's ask your first question. So commonly, parents ask, how many lessons a week does my child have in Islamic studies? Now, we are mandated by the Ministry of Education to deliver a certain number of Islamic lessons per week. So in years 2, 3, and 4, those children who are registered under the KHDA as an Arab passport and as a Muslim will receive 3 lessons per week, where those who are any other nationality but are Muslims will receive 2 lessons a week. Now, as they move into year 5 and 6, and beyond that, when they move to secondary school, all children then, whether they are an Arab passport or a non-Arab passport, if they are Muslim, they will receive 2 Islamic studies lessons per week. So that is the amount of lessons that they will receive. So that's not just common. That's not just Victory Heights. That is common across all schools in the UAE. So many parents who move to Dubai, who may be Muslims, will not understand what the difference is between what we refer to as Islamic A and Islamic B. So Miss Reehan, would you like to explain what the difference is?
Yeah, sure. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh first. In our department, Islamic A and B are the same curriculum. Both of them, the native speaker and the non-native speaker, they typically study the Islamic, the same objectives, the same curriculum, the same standards for both. But the difference is the Arab and the native Arab, they have to study the Islamic book in the Arabic language, and the non-Arab or non-native speakers, they have to study their subject in English language. So
So
all the
if
instructions and everything will be in English, and in Islamic A, everything will be in Arabic, inshallah.
Okay, so if, for example, someone had moved here from Egypt and they were Muslim, they would be studying Islamic A, is that right?
Yeah, if his passport and his if he has a Arab passport, and he has let us say that he has a foreign passport as well. So it's the rules in Dubai and the KHDA and our school in Victor High Primary School, that if he put his residence, I mean the UAE resident, in his foreign passport, he has to inform us that he's Arab, for example, if he come from Egypt, like your example, and he has to tell us that I have to inform you, send an email that I'm willing to put my child to be in Islamic A because he's really pretty good in Arabic, and his Arabic language will not affect the Islamic learning. And teachers, they will evaluate the kids if he's really pretty good in Arabic and his Arabic is not pretty good, but he's doing good and he can be on track in Islamic A. So he's more than welcome in Islamic A. But if we found that it's hard for him and he has just a passport, a foreign passport, or he has both, but he registers himself in KHDA on his foreign passport, he has to follow the rules and he has to join the Islamic P classes.
Perfect. Thank you for explaining that. Okay, the next question is, what does my child learn about in Islamic studies? So I believe this slide will help you explain, Ms. Reehan.
Yeah, it's a very important question. Uh, it will help the parents to understand the content. And let me clarify that in Islamic studies, most of parents, they think that Islamic is just teaching them Quran and Hadith, or what Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. We called in Arabic, it's his speech, we say hadith. So Islamic is not just learning about Quran or the seerahs or the hadith. Islamic is more than that. Islamic, it has 6 fields. Our student has to be on track, inshallah. This is our aim in Victory High Primary School, to make sure that all our students in Islamic A and B, they are on track in all these areas. Let us say that we start from number one. Number one is the divine revelation, or al-wahy al-ilahi. It's al-Quran or hadith, what Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said and what Allah said in the Quran. They have to understand the meaning of the verses. They have to know the general meaning and the meaning of the verses ayah by ayah, and they have to know how to recite the ayat in Arabic. So Islamic A, we expect them to read fluently. Islamic B as well, because it's just memorization. We don't expect them to read Quran in Arabic. And the other field is Islamic creed. So it's our child or our student has to have a good knowledge, depend on his age, about the how to worship Allah and about the ibadat and the Islamic pillars. Like the 5 pillars, like how to pay charity, for who we need to pay charity, how to pray and how to make wudu, and all these worships and ibadat. And the other field, or the third one, it's Islamic manners and ethics. This is so important as well, because we need to be aware that Islamic teach the kids how to have a good character, how to be a good leadership in their future, how to have good manners and ethics. So this is the number 3. Number 4, it's the Islamic ruling and purposes, the biographies as well, number 5, and his identity as a characteristic or student living in Dubai, how he has to be as Muslim to live and with, in our society or community in Dubai, multicultures, multinationalities. So they need our student to be aware how to deal with this community, how to be effective person and effective Muslim, and how to be skillful in dealing with this complex life. Let us say complex.
I would imagine that, yeah, number 6 is a more complex part of the curriculum, especially as children move through the year groups. It becomes far more based upon not just knowledge, but sort of a deeper understanding and sort of making debate and things like that about the role of Muslims in society and things like that.
Yeah, and we need as well to revisit all these fields whenever we have a topic. We need to link between each field as well. For example, if we learn about the manners, we have to ask the student, can you link number 3 with the field number 1, for example? Can you bring any evidence from Quran? What Allah said about this manner, what Prophet Muhammad said about this manner. So he will gonna be able to negotiate, to have a long and conversation, to have deep thinking about our subject.
So would I be right in imagining that, so for example, there may be rulings, I believe, is that called a fatwa?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if there may be rulings that may exist and you may then apply it to like contemporary living and things like that, and make that understanding, is it still possible to do things like that? Like I know, for example, that there is debate in Islam about having
Yeah,
dogs in the home,
that's
for example.
that's a very, very important question, because if he learns something, let us say that he learn how to pay charity, or for who has to pay charity, for example, or how to pray, or whatever, we ask kids and we push them to link their topic with their real life, to see and decide how can I apply this in my real life. Can I, it is possible for my daily life, it's possible to apply it, it's easy to make debate, because we have to, in year 6, especially year 5 and 6, we have to start teaching them the skills to be more secure when they are going to the secondary school, inshallah. So in the secondary school, Islamic department depend on the debating, too much debating, too much knowledge, too much, it's deep thinking.
I know. I remember last year seeing a lesson where there was a debate. It was around Ramadan, and it was to do with the fact that in some countries, in the far northern hemisphere, that the sun doesn't really set, and so obviously that then has massive issues in terms of the fasting period. And I understand that in like the Arctic Circle where the sun doesn't set, that they refer to the time at Mecca, so that they have that consistent time, or otherwise you would not be able to eat or drink during that time. And that was a very contemporary debate about whether that's right or wrong, or should they go in
Yeah,
different timings.
yeah,
Okay,
sure.
thank you for that. Okay, let's have a look. So Quran recitation is another element of your curriculum.
Yeah, it's so important as a routine. When we set a routine in Islamic class, I'm sure that the parent, they will be happy when they hear this. My vision as a leader here, or as a head of department, it's to help the parent um, go through the Islamic studies without any or too much effort, or putting too much effort with their kids while they're teaching them. It's just a proper revision, um, inshallah, throughout the year. But about the Quran recitation, I know that some parents, I'm lucky to have some student that they have a Quran teacher at home. It's really helpful. But even if they don't have Quran teacher at home, here we have a routine. We set it like a routine each class every day. We sit in a circle. It's our routine. We read and recite, repeat until they make sure that our child, they get the surahs and the recitation correctly. This is more important, correctly and fluently.
Perfect. Okay, so the series as well. I believe this is an example of some of the ones, or in fact, the typical series that they need to learn in year 5. Is that correct?
Yeah, for example, this is just an example about the surahs in year 5. Let us say that we started this year reciting Surah Al-Buruj. So we have to make sure that all the students, they are able, or most of them, they are able to recite the surah. If they feel that they are secure to recite it, so the next step will be memorizing this surah by heart, and this is our duty, inshallah. Don't worry about this. Repetition is the mother of skills, and our routine will help them to do this, inshallah, easily, and to understand the meaning as well. It's not just recitation, not just memorization. They have to understand the general meaning of the chapter or the surah, and they have to understand the verses and the meaning of each verse.
And I think we will touch upon parent involvement a little bit later in this webinar. But I think this is certainly one area that parents can really support the children at
Yeah.
home with their learning. And I think we spoke earlier on about some of the ways that perhaps they could do that. And we look at this slide as well, and we can see that we have a sort of a chart here that parents can use to mark off when their child has memorized the first surahs as well. And I think all of these sorts of things really do build engagement at home, and they can obviously then use this to sort of perhaps earn pocket money or treats or things like that that are linked to the sort of
That would
reward
be
of
so helpful.
learning it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we really do appreciate those parents that help support their children at home by doing those things.
Just let me say something about that one, about the
Sure.
Quran
Yep.
recitation and how we expect from the parents to support us in this area. That every day, not every day, sorry, each week in our weekly plan, we usually send a link. It's called almuqri.com, or for the bigger and higher stage, like year 5 and 6. They have to go to www.quran.com. These links, it's help the student to memorize and recite at home, and it would be great if you sit with him and just support us at home to help him to recite and memorize these surahs.
Perfect. And I think the Islamic values, we talk a lot about Islamic values here as a school, across the whole school, all children. We look at British values and Islamic values, but you pay particular attention to those in your Islamic studies lessons. Am I right?
Yeah, I believe that all religion around the world have the same principles about the values. I mean, all the beliefs. Regardless what is the religion, we are agree all as a human being to have these ethics, along beside the logical values and ethics. We have some hadiths and some extra values that we need our child, and we expect our child to be aware about it, to be a good Muslim, to live and have impact and influence the other in the school, and to live in Dubai as well as a community and in this world, and to show the other that we really our studying in Islam have a good impact on our personalities as Muslims in this world. Because always we need to link uh, everything with the real life.
Perfect. And I guess then a lot of Islamic studies is based upon things that happened a long time in the past. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and all of
Yeah,
that. And then you touch upon far more contemporary things. And I think this is emphasized in this slide where you start to look at sort of the modern skills, 21st century skills that really now play an increasingly important part in your lessons. So maybe you could just discuss about what this graphic here shows about the different sort of skills that they will be taking part in during the lessons. So it's not just about memory and recitation, it's about applying different skills, isn't it?
yeah, sure. Because we aim in Victor High Primary School to push our kids to be able and to be skillful about the 21st century skills. And these demonstrated through Bloom taxonomy. If he has a topic, for example, he has to think about it, observe, think, then he has to apply what he learned in his real life. He has to link and he has to create, be a creative person to create his own, even if it's simple project, even if just his print handprint or anything, just to create something, to be simple, and to use technology to be able to be really skillful and have these skills as a child learning in this century, in 21st century, I mean.
Perfect. And I think this graphic here shows some of the sort of outcomes that we would love to see as a result of our Islamic studies lessons, the sort of what children might be considered to be. So create things like creative communicators, versatile readers, critical thinkers, explorers. These are the sort of children that we're aiming to develop. So we're aiming to develop good Muslims, but also children beyond that as well, children who are able to really participate in modern society through developing those skills in their Islamic studies
Yeah,
lessons.
always I'm pushing my kids to be independent learners, to depend on themselves, teaching them gradually, depend on their age stage, to depend on themselves, to be independent learners, to seek the knowledge, to be a good researcher, to be a critical thinkers. And you know, in our society based in technology and media, and we deal with a complex life, like I said, we aim in Victor Hat Primary School to push our kids to develop their thinking skills and to has this content knowledge in a effective way.
Thank you very much, Ms. Reehan. Okay, another question then that I've been asked is, what are some of the activities that a child might typically do during an Islamic studies lesson? So I think we have some examples here that you can talk us through. So the first one here is a link, a real life application. So would you like to talk us through what this slide shows?
Yeah, actually, we aim to um, help our kids, especially in this generation, because I have a statement or a quote. It's really amazing, and I do like it. The companion of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it's just a piece of advice: "علموا أولادكم لزمانهم لا لزمانكم." That he advised the parent to teach, and the teachers as well, to teach the kids and the children depend on their generation. So we have a lot of activities. We aim to help our kids and our students to enjoy learning Islamic. I don't want Islamic to be boring anymore. So we have a lot of activity, but I have just a simple examples, like for example, in each topic, regardless what is the topic, we always aim to help the child to link what he learned with his real life. This is even if this take more than 5 minutes in each class, it's so important for a student. And student in Victor High Primary School living in Dubai, and you know, Victor High School is the top one of the top 10 school. So this, we need to build this personality. We need our kids to be able to link what they have learned in their real life. So this would help him and help the student, I mean, to be a really critical thinkers as well.
So for example, what I'm seeing on screen now, a child may have learned about Allah will ask you about your deeds. So what is your plan for the future? We would perhaps be expecting them to say things like, perhaps, well, that means then I must proactively go out and look to do positive things. Like I may organize a way of raising some money to give to charity. So then I have a good answer to them.
Yeah, it's depend to their abilities. Maybe he will say, I will do always a good deed. Some student, he will say, I will make a really plan. I will track myself, organizing a chart or doing something, making a simple chart using a technology and making a reminder about their deeds. Did you pray today 5 times a day, for example? So we have a variety of answers, and it's really help us as well to understand their abilities and their need and their thinking.
Perfect. I think the next slide then, so this is another type of activity. This is more of a self-reflection. So what does this show here?
It's approximately the same. We were explaining how to encourage students to reflect what they learn in their real life, and it's so important to reflect what they learn in their faith. As Muslims, did this, for example, lesson change something in your faith? What about your faith? Do you think it will be stronger next time? Do you think it will affect? So just we need to encourage them to understand the meaning of reflection.
Perfect. Okay, so one of the things I've seen you use, a tool that you've used in mind mapping. So you've used an app which goes back to what we were talking about, developing the technological skills of our children during Islamic studies as well. So mind map using Poplet, and this helps us children to sort of explore their thoughts, doesn't it, about what they've been learning. And and expand upon it. So I think we're all fairly familiar with mind mapping, but perhaps you could give an example of where they may use that in a lesson.
Yeah, for example, let us say that we will learn about one value, or we will learn about surah, for example. Let's say Surah Al-Buruj. After we reciting the surah, we will explain the meaning of the surah. I will provide my kids the link to search and seek the knowledge, understand the verses and the meaning of each verse. Then I will ask the student to create their mind map. This is a pretty good to understand the student skills, to get know them as well. They are able to draw. They love to draw, especially year 2, 3, 4, and the primary schools. They love, and we use this as well with the secondary school. So we have, like, a visual person. He like to draw. He like to see his thinking comes out of his mind. So this strategy or this mind map help our student to express their knowledge, their thoughts, share their thoughts, draw, write, label. It's up to them. It's maybe they are able to write sentence or 2 sentences. Some students, they are able to write paragraph. So it's help us to have a good knowledge about the topic.
Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to pause for one moment just to remind people that there is an opportunity to ask us any questions. We've hopefully covering most of the questions that you have, but if you do have any questions that spring into your mind, please feel free to drop them down here into the chat box, which will be below you if you're on a mobile device, or in this direction if you are sitting here on a desktop computer. Okay, moving on. I believe here we go. So this is about how you can reflect on the different success criteria that you've been looking at. So for those perhaps parents out here that aren't aware of what success criteria are, these are the criteria that are given at the beginning of a lesson to children about what they should be able to achieve at the end of a learning process. And this is typically something that you will do in class. Would I be right in thinking that this is an opportunity for you to evaluate their progress versus their own evaluation of their progress? So sometimes you will probably agree, I'd imagine. Sometimes you may disagree.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And here we go. We have sort of a more modern approach, I guess, to learning some of the stories that make up the faith as well. So would you like to explain what perhaps has happened here? Is this a child that's produced this?
Yeah, as I promised, no Islamic boring class. Inshallah, we will learn and use a lot of platforms to encourage the student to learn and enjoy learning Islamic. We want them to enjoy learning Islamic. We want them to be able to be skillful, like I said, with the 21st century skills. So this called the story mind map or storyboard that. So what they are thinking, what they learn, they will reflect in a very different way.
And I think all of these different approaches really do help children engage with the subject. And ultimately, for us as educators, we want children to come into school with a smile on their face, to look forward to coming to lessons, because in that position, we can not be assured, but we can be very positive that they will then be in a position to learn in the day. So I think it all starts by designing these learning activities that take the children's interest into consideration, as well as the outcomes of the curriculum.
Yeah, sometimes we provide them like a menu. When you go to a restaurant and have a menu, choose the activity that you would like to do in my class. So they will able to be excitement. They want to learn. They will be so excited to learn in Islamic.
Great. Okay. So another question. We're coming close to the end of our questions, but some parents have asked about what does assessment look like in Islamic studies. So I know that you do what we would refer to as formative assessment. So that's assessment that takes place in lessons. So if I were to visit Miss Reehan's class, I would see that she would be constantly moving around the classroom or asking questions to the class on an individual or on a group basis to get an understanding of what the children have learned, and to match that their understanding is correct and that they haven't got misconceptions or misunderstandings. And so that will be the sort of thing that's an ongoing basis. So that will happen every single lesson. And then there are what we refer to as summative assessments. So that's an assessment of everything that the child has learnt so far. And these normally take place at key points in the year. And they're not something that happens every lesson. They're normally more formal. They normally have more importance attached to them. Whereas formative assessment is very, very brief, short, and doesn't really have what we call high stakes. So there's no sort of pass or fail mark for those sort of things. And then we do an external assessment at the end of the year, which is the ABT assessment. Is there anything you want to say about what the summative assessments or the formative assessments look like in your class?
Now, I just want to ensure something, that inshallah we will provide the kids with the revision sheet. It would help them to recall and memorize and revision, like a quick revision. We just want our parents to sit with their kids and support them, just a proper revision, because I'm sure that they will come home and they will teach their parent that what they learned, that what I experienced in this, that all parents, they were saying that alhamdulillah, that our kids, they are the one who teach us and guide us how to do this, how to get the folder, how to answer the questions.
Perfect. And I think we would say the same to parents as we do in any other subject, and that is, whilst assessments and summative assessments at the end of term or whenever they take place are important, they are a good measure of how your child is doing, and it's important that your child takes them seriously. We also want to measure that with a sense that your children at primary school are still very young, and if they make mistakes, if it doesn't go to plan, it's not the end of the world for them. And I want you to, as I would say to any parent of any child in any subject, that you can help develop good study habits with them. You can help express importance of exams and tests and assessments, but you also need to be able to remind them that it's not the be all and end all, and they shouldn't be overly stressed by it, because I know that children can find it extremely challenging, especially if they find the subject difficult. So I do want to stress that to all parents, that although we do place great value in these, we wouldn't want your children to be suffering extreme stress or suffering because of that. And I think that as well leads into what you've been saying all along, that we want the children to enjoy coming to Islamic, so we don't want to make those experiences to be a negative experience for the children.
Just I want to add something, Mr. Ben, about Islamic A, because you mentioned the struggling, and I'm worried about Islamic A as well. So I think I didn't give them some information fairly, because I will speak in Arabic if you allow me, please. إن شاء الله إن بقسم التربية الإسلامية إحنا هدفنا دائما إنه نوعي الطالب إنك تحكي للمعلمة حاجاتك، يعني tell the teacher your needs. طبعا إحنا بنقدر إنه الطالب ضعف اللغة العربية عنده، لأنها هاي ضريبة، يعني I believe إنها هاي ضريبة في جميع مدارس دبي، بما إنه الطالب يعني يتلقى جميع المواد في اللغة الإنجليزية. فنحن يعني ما بنقدر نتخيل، أنا أم وأولادي برضو بيدرسوا من هم بالFS 1 في المدارس البريطانية، فتوقعاتنا دائما عالية، دائما بدنا أولادنا يكونوا الأحسن والأفضل، وهذا كمان هدفنا إن شاء الله إنه نحقق هذا الشيء. لكن أنا بيهمني كتربية إسلامية إنه أنصح الأهالي وأوجههم تربويا، يعني أنصحهم يعني بالنصيحة التي تناسب المجال اللي أنا يعني بشتغل فيه، انه ما تخلطوا معلمة العربي مع معلمة التربية الإسلامية. معلمة العربي تعلم الطالب اللغة العربية، لكن معلمة التربية الإسلامية يعني في تحدي أكبر من ذلك، المفاهيم والمصطلحات والعبادات، وأنا متأكدة أنه الجميع يعي ذلك وعنده خلفية عن المصطلحات الدينية والفقهية. الطالب حتى لو كان صغيرا، حتى لو في المرحلة الابتدائية، يجب أن يكون أن يدرك هذه المفاهيم، أن يناقش ويحلل ويبدي رأيه، واستخدام هذه المفاهيم غالبا ما تكون جديدة على الطالب، وخصوصا المصطلحات الفقهية والآيات القرآنية. فنحن بدورنا في قسم التربية الإسلامية مسفاتنا إن شاء الله دائما يعني تبذل جهود مباركة إن شاء الله، تكون مشكورة على جهودها بأنها توضح وتسهل اللغة، حتى لا تكون اللغة عائق في فهم محاور التربية الإسلامية. والتربية الإسلامية كما تعرفون هي كونسبت أو مفاهيم. نحن لا نريد الطفل أن يعني يكون متوتر أو خائف أو يكره، حتى مجرد أنه لا يحب أن يعني to join الإسلاميك classes. إحنا ما بدنا هذا الشيء يصير. إحنا بهمنا كمعلمين وكتربويين وكأمهات دائما عاطفة الأمومة يعني تلعب دور هام في فهم حاجات الطلاب وفهم رغبات وتوقعات أولياء الأمور أيضا. فإن شاء الله اللغة العربية حتى لو بسطناها وسهلناها في لغة بلاد الشام، حتى هي اللغة الأقرب للفهم، حتى لو الطالب من المغرب أو من مصر، أو نحاول بقدر الإمكان مقاربة أو تقارب اللغات، وإنه نشرح له حتى في لغته، حتى في الأكسنت I mean the slang، يعني في لغته، حتى يكون الطالب مرتاح وفاهم ومور سكيور، إنه يكون واثق من نفسه إني أنا حتى لو إنه عندي ضعف في اللغة العربية، لا، هذا الشيء ما راح يأثر على فهمي لديني ومعتقداتي. حتى لو اضطرينا نشرح بعض المصطلحات في الإنجليش، حتى فقط يتم فهم المصطلحات في اللغة العربية. فإن شاء الله ما نكون نقصر في التربية الإسلامية من هذا المنحى يعني، أو هذا المجال. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Reehan. I'd love to say that I understood everything you just said, but fortunately I didn't. I did pick up on one word that I think I know, which is Yani, which I think means you know. I heard you said that a couple of times. Yani, yeah?
Yani, yeah.
Yeah, it means you know, or yeah, I'm right.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for that. Okay, let's just move on then. So one of the questions that we have is, how do I know what my child is currently learning about? So I believe you send out a weekly plan to the parents, don't you, about what's happening?
Yeah, I just want the parent to open, please check the folder, Islamic folder, and see. So in each week, inshallah, we will provide the parent and the student with this weekly plan, and we aim to push our kids to guide their parents and to show them where is my homework, where's the weekly plan, what our topic about. It will help you to understand and get to know what the content that we teach in this week. I believe in each week we teach them one unit, so we can't cover and finish all these objectives. So we just send a brief message for parents that we will continue learning the same topic for this week. So in each 2 weeks, you will get this weekly plan talking about or explaining about what we are going to learn in each 2 weeks, inshallah.
Thank you, Ms. Reehan. I think we have 3 more questions left. So one question is, parents often ask me, how can we help support the Islamic department? So I believe you have some trips and events I think parents can be supportive in, don't you? So talking about events?
Yeah. As I said and mentioned before, that we just want the parent to support us, taking a look at the folders, teaching the kids to seriously take the Islamic subject as a core subject, and to support us whenever we have events. For example, it's so near, inshallah, in October we have an event. It's Al Mawlid al Nabawi Sharif. We need and we aim to make our kids enjoy learning Islamic, and in the same time they have to learn about the biography of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's not just an event. It's more about than that. It's learning, enjoy learning, but in a different way, having too many activities. We want and we expect our parent to support us in having these events in amazing way. We have Al Mawlid Nabawi Sharif, Al Quran competition. We will, inshallah, provide everything on CISO. We will send a brief announcement or message for all parents to remind them about Al Quran, win the Quran competition, and what is the surahs and everything. In Ramadan as well, we need to live in a good community. We need our parents, Muslims or non-Muslims. They are invited to be in Ramadan together, inshallah, to have iftar together. And we have a lot of plans for Ramadan, and we have in each term, let us say term 1, term 2, term 3, we have an innovation week for Islamic, and we will inshallah provide you with all the information, but I just want to briefly talk about it. It's to make a project or corner store for Islamic in an innovative way. It's simple, don't be panic, it's so simple. We want and we encourage the student to work in this project independently. Just little bit support.
Perfect. And I think you're going to send some details very shortly indeed about an event that's going to be celebrating the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Is that correct?
Yes, sure, inshallah.
Look forward to that in your inbox, parents. Occasionally, when we do events or we do trips, there may be a small fee attached as part of perhaps an entrance fee for a place that the children visit, or for some of the events that we run. So occasionally we do ask your support in ensuring that you pay the fee so your child can attend those events. So we've got some very exciting trips planned, I believe.
Yeah, we will go, inshallah, visiting the nearest visit. It's to Al Jumeirah Mosque and the Al Quranic Park. We will go with year 6, I believe. Yeah. I might take year 5, I'm not sure. I told them it's depends on your performance and your behavior. If you show me that you're really big enough, we will go to, inshallah, visit the Grand Mosque or Masjid Al-Masjid in Abu Dhabi, inshallah, and we're going to visit the exhibition of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It's أروقة السيرة عن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. هي يعني هذه الرحلات إن شاء الله ستكون تعليمية بطريقة ممتعة. يعني هو يعني تعليمية أكثر مما هي فقط رحلة، وسنذهب سنتعلم الصلاة، سنتعلم عن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم، عن حياته. وهذا المعرض معرض جميل جدا، يعني أنا كتير متحمسة للذهاب مع الطلاب إن شاء الله.
Perfect. Okay. Last 2 questions. So this is one that we don't receive commonly, but it has been asked of us in the past. My child is a Muslim, but we are not religious as a family. Can my child be exempted from Islamic studies lessons? Now, my understanding is that is not possible in all but exceptional circumstances. Is there anything that you can add to that, Ms. Reehan?
Now, I just want to advise the parent to encourage their kids to understand the principle in Islam. It's that Prophet Muhammad and Allah, and this is the message. It's an important message. You have your beliefs, and I have my beliefs. So nobody forced anyone to believe in anything unless he wanted that. So, and I encourage the the parents to help us and help their kids to have the 21st century skills. One of them, I believe, it's the citizenship, and that's mean to respectfully and positively impacting others and being actively involved in addressing community, national, community, and the global issues. I mean, so we want them to be involved in effectively, and we want them to be happy in learning something new. I want them to be leaders in the future, and in the end, their passport, their identity, and everything shows that they're Muslim. Let them have knowledge about their religion, and what they have beliefs at home or what they believes is depend to the parents.
Agreed. I think it boils down to that you or your children may not be active Muslims, but they can at least strive to be good Muslims at all times.
Yeah, this is something and important, but I'm trying to explain, because we explained enough about the Islamic characters and the manners and the ethics and all these things. I don't want to exaggerate the thing, but I want to assure the parents that we're going align with the principle of Islam. They have their beliefs and we have our beliefs, and even with the non-Muslims we have to show respect, we have to be kind, we have to respect their religion and their belief, what we believe, just in a good way. يعني مثل ما قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم: وجادلهم بالموعظة الحسنة، أو يعني بشروا ولا تنفروا، يسروا ولا تعسروا. هذا المبدأ لا يخالف عقيدتنا ولا يخالف ديننا. وإن شاء الله إحنا نعلم الأطفال والطلاب كيف يكونون قادة إن شاء الله في المستقبل، وكيف يدافعون عن عقائدهم وأفكارهم ودينهم. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And final question, unless we have any that come in on the comments box, is my child didn't enjoy Islamic studies at their last school. How is Islamic studies at VHPS different? Well, Ms. Reehan, I think you've explained this a lot through the presentation. I'm going to give you one very quick, short, sharp opportunity just to say why it's going to be much different here at Victory Heights, why they will love this subject and love being taught by you and Miss Fatten.
Okay, as a mother, I just want to say sentence. I know the kids, what their needs, they're enjoying, they want to touch their iPad, they're visual, they want to use the technology, they want to use their Chromebook. That's why I provide them with everything that we need here to enjoy learning Islamic. All the materials here, creating a very comfortable environment to learn Islamic. So inshallah it will be different this year. With your support, we will inshallah have a lot of success, inshallah. And they will enjoy learning Islamic.
It sounds good. I think I want to come to your lessons now, having heard all this.
You're more than welcome, Mr. Ben.
Thank you. Okay, so we've got an opportunity now for any questions. We don't have any that have come in yet. We'll just wait very briefly to see if anyone does. Now, if anyone does have any questions that they do want to address, perhaps after this webinar, I'm just going to take us back to the slide that had the photos of you and Miss Fatten. Here we go. So you've got your email address on screen there, both of your email addresses. Seesaw for me is probably the preferred method of contacting you, because certainly I know one thing that helps is on Seesaw. If you message Ms. Reehan on Seesaw, she'll be able to see who your child is, because sometimes parents forget to mention their child's name, and it can become a little bit confusing trying to work out who you're talking about. And Seesaw is a nice platform to communicate with Ms. Reehan about any questions that you may have. So in the absence of any questions coming in, which I don't think we're going to have any, that means we've done a very good job, Ms. Reehan.
Good job.
We've done a great job. So I think all that's left for me to do is to thank you very much for joining me this afternoon, rather. And I thank the parents as well who tuned in. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. So, Ms. Reehan, it's goodbye from me.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Have a good evening, inshallah. Thank you so much. Bye.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.